Hey everybody, it's Casey Williams. Well, this is not exactly the typical environment for a Mercedes E-Class, but this isn't exactly the typical Mercedes E-Class either. This is the E450 all-terrain wagon. Let's go have a look at it. Well, the all-terrain was recently redesigned, but there's no mistake in it for anything but a Mercedes-Benz. I mean, really just starting with the grille and the big star in the grille. This one actually has the radar unit for the cruise control behind it. But again, no mistake what this car is. But I really like the clean design. There's not a lot of extra chrome, extra stuff you don't need on the car. It just looks very nice, almost kind of coupe-like in profile, and I like it a lot. Being the all-terrain, it's a little hard for you to tell, but this is actually lifted up an inch. It has an air suspension system that raises it in the all-terrain mode for a little bit of light off-roading. So base suspension settings right under 6 inches of ground clearance. This is right at 7 inches of ground clearance. Putting that in perspective, you're not going to do heavy off-roading with this. A Subaru Outback, 8.7 inches of ground clearance, so another inch and a half plus in a Subaru Outback. And if you look at a Subaru Outback Wilderness that really can do some off-roading, you're about 9.5 inches of ground clearance. So again, this is for light trails. This is for getting to your favorite fishing spot, maybe to a mountain cabin on a little bit of a rough, rocky road. Do not take this thing deep into the woods. If you want that, go get a Mercedes G-Wagon. But coming around, again, this is, it's an expensive car. It looks like an expensive car, but I think the design is just very clean. I like the lines come out the front fender, ends there, picks up again here. There's just nothing in the design that's unnecessary. Well, maybe the black body cladding, but how would you know it's an off-road vehicle if you didn't have that? Come around the back. I like the back profile a lot too. Again, you're not going to haul a ton of luggage in the back of it, but there's enough. And what I do like over a crossover is it's a longer vehicle, maybe not as tall, but lots of space aside as far as the length. Power hatch. It's a Mercedes-Benz. Everything's nicely carpeted. Everything's nicely done. Easy to put the back seats down. Flip the lever down, they go. So I want to show you one other thing that lets you know this isn't a really serious off-road vehicle. There's no spare tire. If you get on the trail and you get out there and you get a tire, it's going to be a long way back with the inflator kit and the and the tire inflation. So again, keep that in mind when you're doing some off-roading. If you're going to do this and do some somewhat serious off-roading, get a spare tire and put it in the back. Well, you can tell my daughter has been in the back seat for the last couple hours riding, but it's a pretty comfortable place back here for adults too. This seat is about where I had it for me. There's enough room. Again, I don't know that I'd want to sit here all the way across the country, but there's enough space. Nice armrest. A little bit of storage in the armrest. One of the things that this car doesn't have, though, is it doesn't have heated rear seats. And again, a car in this class, it really should have heated rear seats. On the plus side, though, it does have glass above the rear seat, so it's light and airy and plenty of sunshine. I've really come to like this generation of Mercedes. At first, I didn't know what I thought of the Hyperscreen, but I've really come to like it quite a bit. So this car base model just has a screen here with beautiful wood behind it, but this one does have the full touchscreen. Center screen, this is pretty intuitive. They actually did some adjustments to the menus just a little bit. I find this pretty easy to go through. It's all swipe screen, home button, you get phone, navigation settings, radio, media, and apps as well. So pretty easy to get in there, get what you need, and get back out of it. Connect your phones wirelessly, has wireless Apple CarPlay, Android Auto. And then on the right side, you've got the co-pilot screen that you can control most of the functions as well. So I think it's a pretty good setup, looks really slick, looks nice, works out all right. I like the rest of the design though. I like the flat screen instrument cluster.
I can't find that out right now.
That's kind of annoying, and that's been going on constantly. There needs to be a shut up button on the Mercedes infotainment system to make her go away. But it is voice commanded too if you want to use it that way. But I like the interior. I like the, of course, seats. Mercedes seats are super comfortable. I kind of miss the old ones that used to have the spring in them. These are comfy. These are heated. They're ventilated. Power, of course. And just the way the car is assembled, just the stitching, everything's just intricately designed. Just the click of even the vents here in the dashboard, and just the way they're integrated into the dashboard looks really good. I like this kind of carbon fiber look. Some other things that I really like too, of course, being a Mercedes and lots of people are busy and sometimes you need to take conference calls. You can park the car. There's a camera here and you can take your
Check
keys.
the screen for instructions from Parking Assist.
I'm telling you, be quiet, lady. And you can take your team's calls right here from the car. Again, please park in a parking area and take the calls that way. But if you're on the road and you need to take a call, you can do that here as well. But I like the nice thick leather up steering wheel. This has the Burmester audio system. It does have the twin panel sunroof. The front panel opens completely back. You get a lot of air in here.
Unfortunately, I cannot.
It's really annoying. But outside of that, I really do like driving the car. So for being completely honest, the point of a Mercedes-Benz, unless we're talking about a G-Wagon, is really not about going off-road. It's about covering vast distances of asphalt very serenely. And that is what this car does really, really well. So let's just talk about some of the things that make it very serene. We'll start with the powertrain. It has a 3-liter turbocharged inline-six, delivers 375 horsepower, 369 pound-feet of torque. It does have a mild hybrid system with that, so gas mileage is really good, 22 miles per gallon in the city, 31 highway. So a big, heavy station wagon, 375 horsepower, and 31 on the highway, so that's fantastic. So another thing that makes this really nice is the dynamic system. So I press this little button down here on the console, comes up on the screen. You put it in sport, but it tells you up here the engine, the drivetrain, the suspension, how you have them set. So we'll put them in comfort. That's what I like comfort mode most of the time. So everything's set in comfort. It gives it that old school Mercedes wafty where it's not uncontrolled. It's an electronic air suspension system, but it just has a little more float in it, a little nicer out on the highway. But if I want this thing to perform more like its other German rivals, I can put it in sport mode, and it stiffens up the steering, stiffens up the suspension, makes the throttle a little more responsive, just handles a little bit better. And if I want to go to the other end of it, I can put it in the eco mode, and again, makes the throttle a little less responsive, just makes it a little better fuel economy. And then there's also an independent mode where I can set this up. So if I want a stiff suspension and looser steering, you can configure that how you want it. But again, I really like it right now, just put it back in comfort mode, and I think it's the best out on the highway. So putting this in perspective of some classic Mercedes, those who are Mercedes enthusiasts, this car, this powertrain, this will do 0 to 60 in 4.6 seconds. That is incredibly quick for a midsize Mercedes. And if we go back to the 1980s and think about some of the AMG Hammers, the midsize E-classes at the time, those vehicles will do 0 to 60 in 5 seconds. So this is as fast and accelerating, faster than the old AMG Hammers were. And those cars were faster than anything Mercedes-Benz had in its lineup at the time. So a very quick car by traditional standards. Top speed, 130 miles per hour. But that's because you've got some of the off-road tires, and this really isn't set up for blasting the Autobahn. Those old Hammers, they'd run 180 miles per hour and absolutely eat Ferraris and Porsches back in their day. But I just really like driving this car. It's a car you feel like you can sit in. You can drive it 1,000 miles in a day. The seats are comfortable. It just rides nice. This has the heads-up display, so my eyes out in front of me. Another thing I do like about this car, there's a button here, and you've got one-touch access to all the crash avoidance systems. So I've got active lane keep assist on right now, the active steering assist. And what the active steering assist is, it basically acts like the hands-off systems, but it requires you keep your hands on the wheel. So right now I'm just sitting here, it's in cruise control mode. I've got the radar adaptive cruise, so it's keeping a set speed, it's keeping me a safe distance from the car in front of me. I've got the steering system on it. So my hands are on the wheel because it'll get grumpy at me if I take them off very long, but it's essentially driving itself right now. The next step further, and Mercedes needs to do this, they need to put the full hands-off system on this car. But here we are, nice beautiful day, family in, taking a nice drive, and it's an absolutely delightful car to do that. Well, the E450 All-Terrain may not be your typical E-Class, but it does have a pretty typical Mercedes E-Class price tag. So the vehicle starts right at $76,000. This one, all in, $87,960. But for that, you get a lot more road car than you do an off-road car, but it still is a very nice vehicle. Next week, we'll have a new fun car. Until then, storm forward.